Hey, William here again. Going to post a video on the blog of Arlene from Israel. I really like Arlene a lot. Very clear, concise, a thinker. I did have an issue with her right when she supported Netanyahu for Prime Minister. I guess she was worried about Tzipi Livni winning a majority. I, of course, was supporting Ehud Laumi and Katzela. So with that said, I will just thank Berserk Mobile Communication. Again, Berserk, awesome new cell phone company that really you should look into if you're in America, Canada, or Australia. Right now, they have a global pay one price service, and it's something that you want to look into. You can follow the link either below this video or to the side, depending on the way you're watching this video with the old or the new channels. Okay, with that being said, this blog is Arlene from Israel, and it was posted July 7th, 2009. And more of the same is the title of this blog. She discusses, I'd like to begin today with Carolyn Glick's latest piece, Avoiding American Ambush, which addresses issues I wrote about in my last posting. I will put Carolyn Glick's article and the link to that in the Jerusalem Post. I'll put that in the below this video, or as I said, to the side. Okay. After discussing Obama's immovable radical ideology, Glick says, since Netanyahu's government took office 3 months ago, the Obama administration has placed inordinate pressure upon Jerusalem in a bid to coerce it into making massive concessions to the Palestinians. These concessions are demanded not for peace, but simply for the sake of placing pressure upon Israel. Obama wishes to pressure Israel to show his good intentions to the Arabs and Iran. To date, Obama's loudest demand has been to officially prohibit all Jewish construction in Jerusalem, Judea, and Samaria. Like he's our father or something. Although the demand is intrinsically bigoted, illegal, and immoral, and although the consequences of the expulsion of the Jews from Gaza in 2005 show that Israeli land giveaways really what happens is ethnic cleansing brings war and not peace. Just like we gave away, and this is an aside, just like we gave away the Sinai, and now what has happened? Egypt basically lets the Arab nations, including Iran, funnel arms into Gaza using this land that we gave up, in an effort to land for peace, which is, with the Arabs, is really a joke. Okay. The Netanyahu government has opted not to get into an open confrontation with the administration on the issue. Instead, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his government have sought to treat Obama's offenses as a routine disagreement between otherwise close allies. And she notes, this is precisely what disturbed me about Ron Dermer's interview. Rather than defending the principles of the Jewish national, legal, and human rights to the country's right of security, Netanyahu has sought to reach an accommodation with Obama by reducing the discussion to a conversation about the inevitable natural growth of Jewish communities due to expanding families. Now, what Obama's slavish devotion to his radical worldview shows is that Netanyahu's decision to seek an accommodation is not simply an exercise in futility, it's a recipe for disaster. Thank you, Arlene. Obama and his advisors are looking to fight because they believe that it is in the best U.S. interests to fight with allies, particularly with Israel. Any concession Netanyahu makes will just form the basis of the next round of demands. Far from seeking an agreement with Obama, Netanyahu should realize that given the president's ideological rigidity, there is no agreement to be had. Repeatedly, press reports indicate that there are two positions within the government with regard to a strong stand against Obama. Those who would put up a fight, including Yalon, Begin, and Lieberman, Those who are seeking compromises with the U.S. are, of course, Barak, who is the voice of labor inside the government, and Dan Mirador, who is left within the Likud. Like the Likud is even right-wing anymore, but that's a story for another day. And then Netanyahu is always linked to the two. Thus we have the babble about how the bonds between Israel and America are eternal and unbreakable. And thus it is Barak who is doing the major negotiating on the settlement freeze issue. Foreign Minister Avigdor Lieberman just gave an interesting reason as to why he couldn't do and take part in the negotiating, as he lives in Nakdin, a community that is part of Gush Etzion, near Tekoa in Judea. He explained that he might be accused of having a conflict of interest. Well, I don't buy it, meaning Arlene doesn't buy it. He lives in Nakdim because he has a certain philosophy in terms of the right of our people to live in Judea and Samaria, and there's no reason why that philosophy shouldn't be brought to bear in negotiations. Barak also has a vested interest that could be called a conflict, as he represents a party that doesn't adhere to this philosophy. In fact, he's willing to do a temporary freeze on settlement construction. If not Lieberman, why not Strategic Minister Yalon, who lives in Machabim Reut, who is called Modin, inside the Green Line? Why not? Because Netanyahu is giving substantial weight to the left-wing member of his coalition, which, as an aside, he put in, he courted this Barak to be in his coalition as labor, to perceive some sort of a left wing, but Netanyahu is left-wing, member of the CFR. We're not going to get into that right now, but Netanyahu is leaning to the left, certainly not a right-wing guy, and it's ridiculous when people say that's an extreme right-wing government. It's a joke. But of course, Netanyahu courted Barak and labor, rather than, of course, sticking with people like my guy, which is Ehud Laumi and Katzela. Okay. Barak's latest meeting with Mitchell was held in London 2 days ago, and it wasn't pretty. It was said that progress, and she puts that in quotes, progress was made on the issue of freezing settlements. Barak assured Mitchell that he would evacuate 23 illegal outposts within weeks or months, certainly not years. As one senior minister who preferred to remain anonymous told Ynet News is an Israeli news source, Barak made this offer in exchange for nothing. Barak made this offer, again, in exchange for nothing. Where is Netanyahu's principle of reciprocity? The question of reciprocity is significant in several contexts. And I want to back up for a minute, meaning Arlene, and look at Netanyahu's own words as he began the position at the helm of the new government. We are living in not normal times, he told us. We are confronting extraordinary dangers, Netanyahu told us. We must consider this as he makes decisions, for his job as prime minister is to keep us safe. The obvious implication was this, that in return for certain concessions to Obama, we would find ourselves in a better place with regards to attacking Iran. What we would get wasn't clear, but apparently there would be some quid pro quo, apparently approval for a flyover of Iraq or some bunker busters that we sought. After his Bar-Ilan speech last month, when he uttered the words, a Palestinian state, and this is Netanyahu saying this, I said I wasn't yet ready to second-guess him, and Carolyn Glick at that point expressed similar feelings, saying if this speech succeeded in blunting U.S. pressure on Israel, even temporarily, on the Palestinian front, and Netanyahu gained the opportunity to act on the Iranian front. Okay, I got to conclude this portion of the video. I will add, of course, the next part to it, but I want to thank, of course, Berserk Mobile. Thank you so much for supporting me in these videos. And again, you should check out Berserk Mobile as they are a great new global source for a pay one price cell phone. Thank you so much. God bless, and we'll be back in a second.